Okay, the moment of truth is approaching. My calculations suggest that the Athenor here in Uamon is going to pop tomorrow morning, and the Athenor next door in Faskunen, the Technetium moon, should be popping early tomorrow afternoon. So we have to make sure that we're ready for go time. We've got Herfjoter, our one venture, already built and fit and ready to go. But from previous moon ninja mining adventures, it's become clear that it's very helpful to have a spare venture in your pocket in case the first one gets blown up. Now, we've done a fair bit of ratting out here in the forge over the last few days, and so I've got quite a few minerals from reprocessing modules, and I brought out a venture blueprint with me. So let's get 1 or 2 more in the oven. We have enough minerals to build... we have enough minerals to build 4 ventures, but we only have enough mining lasers for 3 more ventures. Well, let's build 3 ventures. That way, no matter what happens, no matter how on the ball these people may be, and I have noticed that there have been quite a few people sitting in both of those Athenors over the last couple of days, so I have a feeling that they're not going to forget about their moons. But even if they're manning the Athenor guns, even if we get blown out of the water 1, 2, 3 times, we'll have 4 ventures to throw at this problem, and hopefully we can come away with at least a couple of reprocessable loads of Technetium. Everything else is gravy. Enough Technetium to build 1 run of Fullerides. That's really the holy grail of this entire crusade out here in the forge. The Technetium moon that we're truly out here for should still be a few hours away from popping, but now is the right time to check on that secondary moon here in Uamon. Not only will this moon potentially give us yet another new Tech 2 variety of moon minerals, this is also an opportunity for us to collect some more hydrocarbons, because I forgot to get more hydrocarbons from that moon in Curse, and while we do have all the hydrocarbons we need for the Cynabal, we're going to need to use some building our Tech 2 guns, and so we'll need to refill the supply. The moon chunk, it's 128 kilometers from my measuring spot. It should pop when it's 100. My calculations may have been slightly imprecise. Today, though, I think this moon's going to pop today. Let's pop over to Faskunen and see if I've made a similar error in measuring out the Faskunen moon. This moon chunk also has not yet popped. Oh, and it's still 200 kilometers away. Okay, we have some time. Okay, surely at least one of them has popped by now. It is late afternoon, and I was expecting the Athenor here in Uamon to have popped this morning, and the one over in Faskunen to have popped a couple of hours ago. Clear that my spreadsheet was not as accurate as I'd hoped, but still, we should at least be in the ballpark, right? I am starting to wonder if maybe those moon chunks don't move perfectly linearly. There might be a period of deceleration as they approach the Athenor. It certainly seems that way. This moon chunk. The same spot it was a few hours ago. I guess it's waiting for them to pop it, and its countdown for when it pops on its own has not started yet. Or something like that. I thought that the tractor beam changed color once it was in position. Very strange. Same deal over here. Oh, the asteroid belt has popped, and there are retrievers actively mining it. Actively mining the bountiful loperite that I want to mine. Oh, this might be crazy. We'll be right back. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. You ready to go mining, Tallulah? So we're warping directly I bookmarked the Loperite asteroid that those retrievers were all clustered around. So we're gonna see if I can land within scram range of them. Retrievers go down pretty fast. They almost certainly have a response fleet waiting there in the Athenor. They've got their drones out. They've got me scrammed. Who has the scram on them? They all have scrams on them. Oh, this is the end of poor Tallulah. It's worth a try. When miners bite back, I should have put the afterburner on. I can't be mad at that. I can't be upset about that kill mail. I'm gonna pause here for a quick fight recap from the editing room. I'm still not mad about this kill mail, but I want to take a moment to talk about what happened and why I went for it. A mining fleet like this is sort of like a herd of antelope on the savannah, and my Thrasher was a lone lioness out on the hunt. Each of these retrievers by itself is easy prey for a Thrasher. Yes, they have drones, but even if they do put their drones on you, and even if the drones become a problem, the Thrasher would have no problem killing them. And the Retriever has, you know, a moderate amount of hit points, but will wear it down pretty quick. Thrasher versus Retriever is Thrasher every time. Now, there were 3 Retrievers in a tight group here together, and with each of them being able to field 5 drones, there's no way a Thrasher can beat 3 Retrievers. But of course, what happens when you land on grid in a combat ship with 3 Retrievers is usually the mining fleet bolts, right? So if you can land scram on one of them, because Retrievers are not fast to warp, then you hold down one, his friends leave the sacrificial antelamb behind, and then you feast. If they don't leave, if they circle, then you can't kill them, but you can just leave. You can warp off, right? So even though 3 Retrievers is too much for a Thrasher to handle, warping in on 3 Retrievers is a good way to potentially get a kill. But in this case, the antelopes were armed. They were armed specifically with warp scramblers. They didn't flee, and I couldn't retreat. That was, of course, always a possible outcome. It was always a possibility, but it's uncommon. It's uncommon that Retrievers are going to have warp scramblers fit to them, and there's a common saying in the EVE PvP community, never not take the bait, which is to say that you spend so much time as a hunter looking at D-scan, looking at local, trying to find a ship that you can possibly attack and kill, and sometimes you see exactly the ship that you want to kill sitting there all by itself on D-scan, and you say to yourself, well, what if he has friends? What if he's fit for maximum tank and there's 3 Lokis sitting nearby cloaked? I mean, yeah, maybe, but if you're always worrying about what could happen, then you're never going to get a single kill. So in a situation like this, where things can go sideways, I know that my PvP Thrasher is something that I'm willing to lose for the chance to get a Retriever kill. And if they're flying combat Retrievers, then they're flying combat Retrievers, and so be it. What did I do wrong here? I think the answer is basically nothing at all. I am glad I went for that, and as I said at the time, I have so much respect for warp scramblers on Retrievers. Okay, so most of the mining fleet seems to have logged off. There's only 1 Retriever remaining on grid, and he's tucked up right against the Athenor, tethered. So I'm going to sneak in and try and steal some Loperite before they come back. Before the mad swarm of PvP Retrievers returns. The Athenor is targeting me. Neutered me out. The Athenor is shooting me. Okay, so we got 38. Probably need 100 to reprocess, and we'll need about 800 in order to get 100 Promethium. We can do that one load at a time. I would just orbit the asteroid with my afterburner on and see if I could out-track the guns of the Athenor. But of course he's got those newts, which newt me right out in just a few seconds, so there's not a lot of point. But line out, cycle's almost finished, and then I'll be able to dock up before he does any substantial amount of damage to me. Got a little bit more than one cycle that time. Unless he can kill me in 30 seconds or bring a response fleet in that time, I can just warp off as soon as the cycle of the warp scram ends. Which means, given that my mining lasers have roughly a 1 minute cycle, and it takes them about 20 seconds to lock me, that I can keep getting one laser cycle off every single time, and there's not much he can do about it unless he undocks something. Oh, he jammed me. That's not nice. Well, when he jammed me, my cycle ended, but I got whatever I'd mined up till that point. So even when he lands a jam cycle, I'm still getting 30 loperite out of each warp in. I realized I can actually just kind of bounce on grid without going back to station each time, because he doesn't seem to actually be threatening me substantially. Okay, I think this is the end of our ninja mining this belt for the immediate time being. More than just an Athenor to deal with. Particularly, I don't like having Condor Tackle Frigate on grid. We've done pretty well. And we'll check back in later and see if they've left any scraps for us. Okay, here's the situation. Despite my certainty, my spreadsheet-induced certainty that both of these moons were going to pop into belts yesterday afternoon at the latest, only the one moon here in Uemon did in fact pop. And I was able to sneak in and extract a few reprocessable loads of a few different moon asteroids, which resulted in all of this, which is useful. It's not nothing. I did not get enough promethium. You need 100 in order to do any kind of reaction. So I was hoping to get 100 promethium in the supply so that should I ever need to do a promethium-based reaction, I would have it ready. The scandium and platinum, I already have enough of stashed elsewhere, back in Albrez, I believe. Getting all of this stuff was helpful, but it's not as much as I would have liked to get. The vanadium, on the other hand, actually makes a big difference. I only have 27 vanadium here, but critically, the last time I had mined a vanadium moon, I had been chased off after only getting 79 vanadium. So now, between these two different stashes, one here in Uemon and the other back in Albrez, I have the 100 vanadium I need in order to do a vanadium-based reaction, which is especially valuable to me because if I do end up needing to build some of those other non-fullerite components in order to build the Tech 2 guns, some of those reactions do require vanadium. At the point when I had to go to bed last night, they still had a whole fleet sitting there on the moon, basically preventing me from coming back in my venture and stealing 20 loperite or 20 vanadinite at a time. And at the time that I went to sleep last night, the moon next door in Faskunen still hadn't popped. So it's Sunday morning, and the first order of business is to head over to Faskunen and see if our Technetium moon is finally ready to be mined. What? How is this possible? A couple of days ago, I had this moon chunk tracked at traveling 7 kilometers per hour. Oh. There's an endurance landing on me now. Jaravar, who are you with? He's with the corporation that owns this station. That leads me to believe that they are ready to pop this chunk at any moment. It is sitting 109 kilometers off of my measuring spot right now, which is within the 100 to 150 margin of error for a chunk that is actually ready to blow. I don't know why it took so long for it to travel that last 100 kilometers, but now it is there. Later today, possibly within the next hour or so, this chunk is going to pop. I do not want to spend all of that time sitting here in Faskunen. That guy's already seen me on grid with the Rathanor. So he knows I've got my eyes on his chunk. He's undocking in a hurricane now. Yeah, they're on a defensive footing. It is going to be, for sure, another high-risk ninja in-and-out mission in order to get even a single load of Carnitite out of there. But we're absolutely going to do it. But I don't want to sit around keeping them on high alert the whole time. We're going to get out of the system. We're going to go see if there's any asteroids left for us at the moon in Uamon. And then we'll come back in a couple of hours and try and sneak in for our Carnitite. All right, Uamon Moon, what are you looking like today? There's no mining fleet. 10 in local. But no one's out in space within D-scan range of the Athanor. Are there any asteroids left? There are a bunch of asteroids left. Oh, there it is. The moon chunk has a yellow glow around it, which I'm pretty sure means the timer for automatic detonation has started counting down. And if I don't pull the trigger in the next couple of hours, it should pop on its own. So it's happening today, one way or another. 22 in local. 22 in local. Most of them belonging to Easy Street Alliance, who owns that Athanor. It must be happening now. It must. I'm pretty sure we're going to come out of this warp and we're going to see about 20 retrievers and procurers sitting on a pile of Carnitite asteroids, just taunting us. There they are. There are the procurers. And there's a slasher among them as well. Not to mention a scorpion. It's going to be hard to sneak in on. And there's our Carnitite. Replete Carnitite. Regular Carnitite. I don't need that much of it. I ran the numbers. 100 Technetium is enough to produce 200 platinum Technite. And 200 platinum Technite makes 6,000 Fullerides, which is enough to make 545 thermonuclear trigger units, which in turn would become 30 650mm artillery. That's more than I'll ever need. The Cynabal only has 4 turret slots. 100 Technetium. We'll get about 60% of this back. 300. I need 300 replete Carnitite And then all of my plans, all of my dreams will come to fruition. There's nothing else to do. We're going in. Starting the mining lasers. Aligning out to a safe. The slasher looks like it's thinking about warping to us. Oh, slasher's in warp to us now.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
We have 40 replete carnotite. I'm jettisoning it here at safe number 2. This can will last a good 2 hours. There's no station system to dock it off at. This is going to be a lot of sneaking in, sneaking out if this is going to work. We got 6 that time. Oh man. Got 14. So I'm definitely not going to be able to get to 300 replete carnotite this way. With a scorpion, a slasher, and a raptor now on grid and on the ball chasing me every chance they get. And this 60 replete carnotite is useless to me unless I can get 40 more replete carnotite. And if they leave any carnotite on the field, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the replete. So I feel like I need to keep playing this cat and mouse game for at least 40 more.
Break free of history. This train is racing straight ahead. No man can do like I can. I'm the queen of the land.
Flasher's burning in at 4 kilometers a second. Got 10. This is ridiculous. This is truly absurd. I think the slasher could have warped me there. We didn't realize it. Now I've been jammed by the scorpion. Oh, if it's not one thing, it's the other. But I got 8. 852 ISK worth of replete carnotite. Flasher knew to work to me that time. He's got it figured out. I messed up the locking that time. I only got 2 before the slasher landed on me. 88. I need 12 more. If I don't get my hands on 12 more replete carnotite, then this whole escapade has been for naught. Once that cargo container has 100 replete carnotite in it, then we can talk about next steps. Then we can step back and reevaluate our plans. I'm amazed they haven't put out combat scanner probes yet to try and find my perches. Is the slasher going to warp to me? Oh, he's not warping yet. Are they letting me get away with it this time? I don't know why. They weren't going for me that time. Have they realized how little I'm actually stealing and they've gotten sick of chasing me? I was tempted to stick around longer and see if I could get, several cycles off, but I was very eager to get over that 100 line. I bookmarked the specific asteroid. I'm gonna try warping straight back to it. If they've given up on chasing me, I'm going to get as much as I can. And I won't feel so bad about if this venture gets destroyed now that we've at least got that one reprocessable pile of replete carnotite. Oh, there's a Tengu now. Is Tengu going to warp to me? Tengu is cloaked. I better align out. That Tengu very well could have cloaked and initiated warp to me. One cycle complete. I'm ready to manually end my cycle and warp as soon as something decloaks next to me. Okay, I'm about to drift out of range. Slasher's on the move now. End the cycle. Oh. End the cycle too late. They still haven't started using the Athanor yet, though. If they were using the Athanor to scram me, this would be much, much harder. If they'd used the Athanor even once in that process to put a scram on me, and then sent in the Slasher, I'd already be dead. But instead, I'm sitting here seeing it, thinking to myself, maybe I can get 56 more out of them. That Tengu pilot's in a purifier now. Oh, that's actually really bad news. He's in a purifier because stealth bombers can lock without decloak delay. Which means if he's got an insta-lock set up more or less, the moment I see him decloak on my overview, he could already have me locked and scrammed. I'm sure he has double scrams on there. The fact that they had a Loki, and then the Loki pilot dock up and reship into a purifier, I'm 100% certain that means they've finally figured out how to kill me. And I won't have any warning before it happens. It's sad that we got up to 144, not 200, but I am very glad to have crossed that 100 line. Now we're going to take this back, drop it off in Uemon, and wait like, I don't know, 30 or 40 minutes for the heat to dissipate. We only need 100 Technetium. Ever. I mean, it would be nice to have 200, because then if we ever want to use it to build something other than Fullerides, we'd have that option. But I'd be happy with just Fullerides. No matter how you slice it, though, we do have Technetium. 35 Technetium here in Uemon. Tech 2 guns are almost within reach. Is every single Technetium moon in New Eden this well defended, though? I really want to get 100 Technetium from this moon. But if we don't, are we going to be facing this every single time? I hope not. This is madness. It's not even worth that much. 230,000 ISK estimated price. And yet that fleet was protecting their Carnotite like it was their firstborn. We'll get it, though. We will get it. Okay. I've given those easy folks an hour of peace. Surely any miner would be nodding off at the wheel by then. They can't stay on high alert for an hour straight. And who knows? Maybe they've eaten their fill. Maybe they're resting back in the Athanor with their cargo holds stuffed to the gills. There's still 22 of them in local, though. And BCG Gaming is the Purifier / Loki pilot. So we will still need to be very much on our toes. Just as busy as it was before. Still some replete Carnotite out there, though. All right, we are 2/3 of the way there. 202 replete Carnotite reprocesses into 70 Technetium. We're getting 60.5% reprocessing efficiency. So the question at hand is, would 100 Carnotite at 60% efficiency? It would. 100 Carnotite at 60% efficiency would give us exactly 30 Technetium. That is great news. Because 3 loads of regular Carnotite, 300 regular Carnotite would not have done it. If we'd gone for regular carnotite from the get-go, we would have had to mine 400 to get our 100 technetium. By getting 2 reprocessable stacks in of the replete carnotite, we've reduced the total amount of ore that we need to harvest by 25%. That's fantastic. Regular carnotite it is. Slashers coming in, 49, 45. Gotta go. Okay, we're actually in a good position this time. The slasher can't get to us easily. He can't warp to us, and it'll take him a while to burn to us. Feels like I'm getting away with murder here. I mean, not even a million ISK worth of carnotite in this container. But if we can get one more go like that last one, we will be across the Technetium finish line. Is Slasher gonna warp? Slasher warps. But I got 10. I seem to have at least one fan in Easy Street. But one fan, thankfully, is not enough for them to stop shooting me. This whole thing, I would feel pretty bad right now if I spent all this time waiting for this moon and then they let me just have it. You gotta fight for it. If you don't fight for it, it doesn't count. And I only need 10 more. I only need 10 more carnotite. I have a feeling that this is it. Right now. Line to safe. Someone's going to warp to me. But not before. Oh no, the slasher is 149 kilometers away. He has to slow boat away before he can warp in. I've already got my 10. I know I do. Lasers off. Warp out. 22 carnotite. I could have left like 10 seconds earlier. But I think that's it. I think that's 100 technetium. Oh. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to see that reprocess screen show 99 technetium. I will lose it. Oh, Easy Street. Thank you for not just letting me have it, but thank you also for being so disorganized that I was able to sneak in on you. Must have been 50 times in total and get out by the skin of my teeth every time. That one poor slasher has done more orbits of that asteroid belt than I can count. I feel like I should be celebrating right now. But I also don't want to put too much faith in my arithmetical ability. I won't really believe it until I see it on the reprocessing screen. It's the next morning, just logging back in to see if there are any rocks left at the Fiskunen Athenor after that huge mining fleet has eaten its fill.